feel like I'm meditating.
I know.
Just listening.
I know.
Yes.
Enlightened.
Yes, enlightened.
Revelation, connecting with the sacred in everyday life. That was a scene from it, I believe. Russell, tell us a little bit about what it all means.
When I wrote this Audible original, the intention was to go on a tour and hang out with a lot of sages and worldly people. In fact, I could have used my stint hosting with Kelly as research, thinking about it now. I wanted to hang with people that had gone on deep expeditions of the soul, because I suppose in my own life, with the kind of addictions I've had and the kind of flirtations and immersion in celebrity, I've experienced a lot of materialism, a lot of pleasure and distraction. And once those things kind of expire, once they lose their value, you find yourself looking for more purpose and meaning. I intended to meet all these sort of powerful people, these teachers. That was not possible because of, what happened globally with the pandemic. So I wrote a different book about how I was experiencing sacredness in everyday life, how part of what we're experiencing at this time is the death of our systems and ideas that have guided us this far. And as we come out of this pandemic and we look to what the future holds for all of us, I think all of us individually and collectively sense that it has to be more than a return to what we were doing before, that the old ideas are dying. Whether you look at this from an ecological perspective or a political perspective, we need to find a new way of living, a new way of communicating, a way of transcending the kind of conflict and fragmentation that's happening on a social level. And I found that this kind of, what I want to say, a perspective was accessible inwardly that changed my view on all of these things. The revelation ultimately is we have no choice but to live a spiritual life, but we can resist it if we want to. But ultimately, that's where we're going to find ourselves.
And you have you have the voice to deliver it. Not just the message, but the way you deliver your message it's beautiful, I think, and very important now. Like you said, now more than ever, I do agree with you that we cannot go back to the way things were before this time.
Have you always been spiritual or spiritual in some way?
Yeah, I think so, Ryan. That was a drug addict and everything. I think that drug addiction is, in a sense, an attempt to replicate the conditions of spirituality. If you think about how people even talk about it, I've got to get off my face, I've got to get out of my head. People are trying to feel something, purpose, connection, meaning. I know that seems a bit highfalutin and a bit of a jump if you think about a crackhead or a smackhead or someone constantly toking on a spliff, but really people are looking for something. People are trying to synthesize a kind of awakening. Certainly that's what I've been taught in my recovery from addiction, and certainly it's what I believe. And certainly the one thing I've discovered that makes me feel better about being alive in a world and knowing that death is inevitable for myself and everyone I love and everyone else is a connection to something higher, which some people would call God, but that can be a prohibitive and difficult word for some people.
Well, you seem very at peace, my friend. It's great to see you. And Russell Brand's Audible original, Revelation, Connecting with the Sacred in Everyday Life, is available on Audible. Take good care, mate. Nice to see you.
Take care, you too.
Let's see your family and the plan.